Alright, here we go, boys and girls, ready for another stream. Looks like we got a few people here. Let me turn on my live chat so I can be sure to see everything. There's Eric. I have 4 or 5 other people here. This is the rolls that I got in a collection that were all wrapped in tissue paper, then wrapped in foil. And it's an original bankroll inside here. So be patient with me as I work on getting this torn open. There's a lot of tape and a lot of foil to work my way through here. But I've done this with a few other rolls. And, well, for the better part, they turned out to be very nice coins. So we'll have to see how this works. I'm doing this kind of off camera because it's a little messy. You can see all the mess that I'm creating. So I'm going to do it down here. Can somebody get rid of the Russian spy for me? I appreciate it. There's Yo Man, Robert, Mr. McBride. All back for a nice dose of 1962-ism. Let's see what we get out of this. I'm working my way through lots and lots of aluminum right now. Getting this roll open. Okay, almost all the way through the foil. Then I have a layer of tissue paper to go through. The kind of stuff that has been known to cause toning on coins in the past. I don't know. So there it is down to the tissue paper. Now I get the paper off. Never seen rolls where people went to this much trouble to secure them. But here we are, right? Keep working on it. Hang on. Might take a little bit of time. How about a campfire song while we're at it? No? Okay. No campfire song. Thank you, Dennis, Robert. You guys are helping me out here with the moderation of the channel. I appreciate it. While I work my way through layer after layer after layer of, you obviously see I have not been through this roll, so I have no idea what's in it. There we go. We finally got the rest of the paper off. Look at the mess. Look at the mess. All caused by that one little issue with paper. There we go. Move everything so it's better seen. Hang on just a second. I have a hard time seeing what I'm doing when I don't have my camera on my screen so that I can see it. Alright, here we go. There's the roll. It's what we end up with. And oh my gosh. 2 people are going to get really lucky here. At least. Let me go ahead and pull this open. Got a couple of, at least one, absolutely beautiful, stunning toner coin right on the end of the roll. Doesn't matter, Robert, you tried. You tried, that's all that matters. You gave it good effort. Alright, let me see the truth of the matter. Roll the wrapper over the coins. Okay, it looks like pretty much one ender is going to be a nice toner. The other end doesn't appear to be toned. And, you know, the coins on the inside are in good shape, but they don't appear to be toned. But man, this ender, I tell you what, look at the color on that baby. You got some nice purples and other really beautiful colors on there straight out of the roll. That's going to be coin number 1, so coin number 1 is going to be a winner just to begin with, without even looking at it under the scope. And that's going to be for Mr. McBride. Mr. McBride will get coin number 1. Coin number 1, other than being beautiful and purple, let's see if it has anything else going on. Oh, nothing I see right there. Let's see if we see anything on the reverse side. Now, I'm always looking for notching at the corners of the letters around the outside edge of the design. I was watching for any anomalies that I'm just kind of not used to seeing. And I tell you what, that toning is just beautiful. That'll be a really good coin for the birthday boy, born in 1962. Let's go on to coin number 2. See what's coin number 2. Go Wi-Fi. Go Wi-Fi gets this 1962 Lincoln cent. Let's see. I saw something that looked like it could possibly have been doubling, but it's not. I keep turning it around like this so the light hits it from all different directions. Because if you try doing more than one light at a time, you'll end up getting a really bad, fuzzy-looking doubling on everything, and it'll confuse your eyes. Your light always needs to be traveling from one direction, which for me is just ahead of and in front of the coin as we look at it. Robert, the answer to that would be yes. We have a 2020 roll coming up to, let's see, Monday. A 2020 roll. We'll be doing Monday. Got 3 rolls on Monday, and one of them is a 1970S, and then we have a 1949S, and then we have a 2020 Philadelphia. Those will all run during the day on Monday. Looking for any doubling here. Looks like we've got some rather exposed coins, which is really surprising considering this roll has been wrapped up as long as it has in tissue paper and in foil. Now, coin number 4, John Brandon Bow. Oops, I grabbed 2 coins. There we go. John Brandon Bow. Well, that unfortunately is machine doubling. That isn't actual hub doubling up there on trust. And, well, the rest of the obverse of this coin, it's a later dice date obverse, and it's kind of mushy, but it doesn't actually have any doubling. And the obverse here doesn't seem to have any doubling either. Either, neither, neither, tomato, laboratory, I don't know. However, I decided to pronounce it with my self-education in the English language, because I don't think the education I got in school was, well, especially trustworthy as far as pronunciation is concerned. I went to school in Memphis, Tennessee, and you would never know it by listening to me now that I had a very southern drawl accent when I was younger. And a lot of words I learned a number of different pronunciations for, based on whether you participated in Southern Draw or not, or whether you participated in Ebonics or not. That was all very real. I had a 5th grade teacher that I can remember. Her name was Mrs. Rogers. And Mrs. Rogers had a spelling test. And in that spelling test was a word that she pronounced that word churning. Churning. And I thought, well, I'm not sure I've heard that one before. So it sounds like she's saying journey. So Journey is what I wrote down. Churning. Turns out I got that one wrong. That the word I was supposed to gather from the pronunciation churning was Turning, and she was pronouncing it churning. Well, it sounds more like you're making butter to me, churning. And I told her that I misunderstood what she had said. And she said, well, that word was on the spelling word list, which I never received, and that I should have known what the words were on the list, and the word journey was not one of the words on the test. It was the only spelling test I ever got one wrong in, because I could always spell really well. If you look at these die scratches right here between the 1 and the 9, these tend to be showing up a number of different times on the coins in this roll. So we're going to take whatever markers we find on this one, and we're going to be able to use those markers as our assertion that we have seen this die before, and be able to look or not look into the future with the others that we find. So right there, those die markers on the 1-9, we'll be able to use that. See if we have a double die reverse here. I haven't seen a lot of repeated markers yet because I've been looking at more the die state of the coins tends to be a little late. So here's one for Go Wi-Fi. Now coin number 9. Coin number 9 goes to Eric. And Eric will get... It's not the same die. This one has a single die scratch between the 1 and the 9, and then it has a heavy one, or like actually 3, in very close succession coming out of the chin. So we can use those 3 little die scratches coming out of the chin as our marker for this particular die. And we could play the same game. Play the same game with this one. We can take a look and see if there's any doubling on this. And flip it over and take a look at the reverse and see, or the reverse, and see if there's any doubling on the reverse. No doubling on the reverse. So we know that die as well. Here's coin number 10 for Yeoman. And Yeoman gets neither one of the 2 dies that we have been seeing so far. So we'll have to find a new marker for Yeoman's coin here. Find a new marker. Well, could a marker hopefully be that it's a double die? Yeah, I just don't see it. Just don't see it. Bummer. Just don't see it. Not a double die. On the obverse, anyway. Let's see if we can find a nice little marker. Nice little marker lives right over here. Now, you might think, oh, you're crazy hunting a coin that has nothing on it for a marker. But it really helps. Really helps. Hopefully through watching me you'll understand. But I've got 2 marks right up above the 6 up here that appear to be die marks that we'll be able to use in future determination of which die we're looking at. Let's check the reverse real quick on this one just to be sure. And I'm not seeing anything on the reverse here. So we have another die that we can be pretty sure as we run along and find another example, we'll know what we had. And here is, well, it looks like yet another different die because I don't see any of our previous markers. Not seeing any of our markers can mean a number of different things. New die, or it could be just any of the markers that we were using on a different example were not very strong markers to be using in succession. We'd have to find something different. Here's a really nice die crack running from the top of the head down to the ear on this one. Run from the top of the head all the way down to the ear. So we will be able to use that, even though it's not near the date. I like finding markers that are near the date because when you find markers near the date, you are much more likely to notice them as soon as you lay the coin down. And I like being able to get through things rather quickly. So if I lay it down, I got to dig around for a marker. It's not as useful to me. Here's Go Wi-Fi again. Go Wi-Fi for this 1962 Lincoln Cent. This is the last of the subscription rolls. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing subscriptions again. We will probably do them in a slightly different way if we do. And the reason for this is because in order to do that subscription thing, I would have to pick out all the rolls I'm going to do for that entire month prior to the beginning of the month. And I was having problems with, yeah, but I want to put this roll in. I want to do this roll. You know, I got another new roll. I want to do this roll. And I was kind of hogtied into only doing certain rolls. And I don't like that. I like being able to choose what I do each week. Here's Carl. Hey, Carl. There's one for Mike Birchman. And Mr. Birchman will get our one die scratch between the 1 and the 9, plus our 3 little die scratches coming off the chin. So we've seen this die before. So it's not doubled, but we're going to take a look for anything that we should really be noticing, any errors. A pretty nice coin, too. All right, that's for Mike. Now, number 14. Number 14, Adam. Let's see what Adam gets here. Yeah. That looks like it could be the die that had the little marks above the 6, but it's really hard to tell. I'll just check the whole coin. Sometimes you can use markers, but sometimes the coins are rather absent of markers and they can be confusing quickly. And there's really no point confusing yourself with markers and then having to recheck and recheck things just for markers. Just look for the doubling, you know. If the markers are giving you issues, just check for the doubling. Don't worry about the markers. Here's another one with the spikes in the chin. You can see that one die scratch between the 1 and the 9. There's your spikes off the chin. So we've seen this die before for sure. We know that this die is not one of our... Oh, it's not one of. It's not a double die. We haven't found a double die yet in this roll. Now, the reason this particular coin is probably tarnished to an extent is because these coins sat in a bag. And they sat in a bag probably for a little while. When they came out of the bag, some of them were toned. There's another one with the spikes on the chin. Right there. So, we have another non-double die. Non-double die. To die without the doubling die. Alright, that's that. That one was from Marshall. Now on to coin number 17. Psychedelic Rob. What does Psychedelic Rob end up with? Well, it's a different. Looks different. Can't tell. Ah, there's the one. That's the nearly spiked head die crack going from the ear all the way up to wee. So we've seen this die. And it had nothing last time we looked. The steps on 1962 can often be rather mushy, but especially when you get a coin in later die state. Part of how you can tell it's later die state is you've got a lot of flow lines that are kind of killing the edges of the letters, especially those edges that are closest to the rim. Definitely a later die state example of the die, and not a double die. Here's Thomas. And Thomas looks like another die that we don't have a particular marker for. So, and it's not the spiked head. This one has a hump behind the shoulder in the field. Right there. A big old die gouge or scratch or something. What else do we have? Nothing there. And we move on to coin number 19 with Carl. And Carl. Not seeing anything here. Let me flip it over and take a look at the other side. Slightly earlier die state than some of the other ones that we found, but there is nothing of note on this particular die. On to coin number 20, John Brandon Bow. Oops, I'll put this back. There we go. John Brandon Bow. Nothing there. Part of that Petraeus would cause a real issue with what is full steps, because there are so many different reverse design engravings used on memorial cents. You've got some years that simply don't have step details. No matter how nice the coin is, how early die state or anything else, they simply have no step details. There's that die that I first got for Eric, the one with the 2 die scratches between the 1 and the 9. So we've seen this before. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick for any error or other oddity things that we need to be looking for. Don't see anything there. So yeah, you get a lot of step detail in some of the earlier memorials, but you get up around 1982, 83, 0 step detail sometimes. Sometimes you'll get a little bit, sometimes you get none at all. And, well, step detail is kind of one of those things that, because it's such a coming and going thing, I don't think it's something that you can apply to an entire series of coins. Just like I think the steps are something that should not be applied to the entire series of coins on nickels. I don't think it's fair to a lot of the years that the hubs themselves didn't even have a full design. How is it that you can expect the coin to have a full design if the hubs didn't even hub the design all the way into the die? So it's just, I don't know. I got my opinions, I guess. Opinions? Yeah. They can be quite plentiful, I tell you that. Another 62. This one's got the spike chin. There's your spike. And nothing else important. Well, our odds are fairly good of finding one until you've been halfway through a roll and haven't found one. I pretty much assume the rest of the roll probably will have nothing. And that's where we're about at right now. Coin number 25 here. This is halfway through the roll. Mr. Fletcher gets this one. Coin number 25 turns out to be, well, this is our first die, the one with the, I'm going to call it the 7 inside the 9, because that looks like a 7 right there. So the 7 inside the 9. See, we keep running over the same dies over and over again because this is an original source roll. If we were just looking through a bunch of 1962 Lincoln cents, then perhaps we could apply the idea that there's a lot of different double dies to be looking for. But once you've been through half of a roll that all come from the same 5, 6, 7 die pairs, you can probably pretty much write off double dies for the remainder of the roll if you haven't found any so far. There's one for Mike. So, fortunately, we had a nice looking bank wrapped roll to open. Unfortunately, it turned out that all the paper and foil around this particular roll did not protect it against the elements which got in and kind of spider veined the coins a little bit. Spider vein, the spider webbing, the web appearance of the unwashed planchet wash, the unrinsed planchet wash. High grade 62s are worth a lot, but in part that's because they were generally not struck very well and they were generally spotty. So these actually are very average for 1962 directly out of the mint roll, I mean directly out of the bank roll. They're somewhat nice coins in here. This one is one of the somewhat nice coins. This is a good 65. Good MS65 example. Maybe even a 66. That's a nice coin. I'm going to Kelly Michaud. Some of the coins are nice, and some of the coins are just, well, no, not so nice. And that is indicative of a roll of coins that was made from a bag or bags of coins, some of which were in better shape than others. So this has got the split down the head. Nothing we haven't seen on the reverse. Nice looking coin though. And this one goes to Crispy. Now coin number 29. Coin number 29 to Malcolm. Malcolm, which die do we have here? Not sure. Nothing there. Let's see what we have over here. Nothing there as well. Now, number 30 for Kelly Michaud again. Not as nice as the other one was. Alright, got no doubling on that one either. Now for coin number 31. Yo, man. Got nothing going on there. Yeah, the MS67, 1962 Lincoln cent, I think will pull in excess of $500. If you can find one. Those are definitely not common. One for Penny Hoarder. Another decent coin. That's one of the ones with the die crack in the head. So we got no doubling on the obverse or reverse. Nothing else special to be paying attention to here. Now number 33. Yeah, finding 62s in any condition better than what we're seeing out of this roll is actually kind of rather scarce. Some of these are just not nice, but it is 1962. It's just one of the years. 1953 and 1954 also had the same problem. Lots and lots of coins turned up spotty because of whatever it was they were using to wash the planchets at the mint. Doug Reese. Next coin up, number 34. Got some nice shine on this one as it went under the microscope. It looks like it's a partial, like this area right up here. It's a partial proof-like. It's pretty nice looking. Now you picked up an RPM tune. You've been looking for number 1. Well, those are both RPMs. The number 2 and the number 1 are both RPMs that are actually rather difficult to come by. Don't see them often. Number 2 is a little more common than number 1. So that could be, in part, a reason why you haven't been able to locate one yet. As for Stonecutter, number 35. Move on to coin number 36 now. Mech. Oh. A high sheen on the reverse. I like this one. That's a nice coin. Let me put my glasses on, take a better look at it. Never mind, my glasses aren't here. Joe, I get a really good look at this one when you get it, because it's a nice coin. Really nice. Now for number 37, Mike Birchman. What happened to my glasses now? I'll figure it out. I don't think my sitter is going to allow me to sit much longer. My sitter is broken, so I'm working on trying to get my sitter back in position. And that means I'm not going to be able to sit through another reveal right now. Looks like 2's about my limit for this moment anyway. Next week that could completely change. But I'll finish this one off. I'll get the other 1966 roll ready. But we won't be doing that until, well, I don't know, probably Sunday or Monday. But that'll be, what was that, number 346A? 346A. Well, got a lot of nothing to do on these 1962s. They're a little bit disappointing. Looks like we're going to have just a flop roll. Jim Fletcher here. I've got some pretty coins, but it just doesn't, I mean, none of them are double dies. And, well, double dies and other things of mystery and intrigue are what we're looking for. There, that sound enough like, what was it? Captain Kirk. The mystery and intrigue. It's got the die crack in the head on the obverse, which is why I'm going very quickly over the reverse looking for struck through or anything like that we should be paying attention to. sometimes there are errors that have value that you're not going to be able to see on one side from the other side, so you do have to look at both sides of the coin. There's one for Eric. Eric gets another one of the same die he got last time. It's the 7 in the 9. And so it's going to be a normal coin, but it does look like a decent grade. Nope. Darn it. For a while, it looked like there weren't going to be a lot of spots. Or not spots, they're stains, but anyhow, there's a lot of them. Well, that's number 41. How about at number 42 is for Carl. Nothing there. And nothing on that side. How about at number 43? Marshall now. And nothing really great in here. Not on that coin. Let's pop up the next one for Mr. McBride. It's actually another pretty high grade coin, Mac. Pretty nice looking one. This one looks like a 66 from a distance. It could be a 66. It looks clean enough. There's just a tidbit of a fingerprint, it looks like, on the reverse. It could still go 66 though. Now number 45, Doug Reese. Now this one has a little hazy appearance to it, so it's not going to quite go in a higher grade. No. Some diamonds are just unfortunate. Here's number 46 now. Number 46 for Bob Hampton. Nothing obversing me. Nothing on the reverse either. Hey Bob, just not getting anything today. It's just been one of those. Well, I'm gonna call it a statistical moment, because a statistical moment is when you are the bug and not the windshield. That's kind of how today's been. We've been the bug and not the windshield. But unlike the bug, we'll have a tomorrow. And given our tomorrow, it could be a better day than this one. There's always a good way of looking at things. Tomorrow could be a wonderful day. Actually, this evening could still be a wonderful time, because we're going to be doing those 1946S and 1943S rolls this evening during prime time. Allow more people the opportunity of being able to see them. We'll be doing those at 7 and probably 7:30. I mean 7 and probably 8. I'm sorry. Probably an hour off of one another, as they will take a little bit longer to do. We're going to be looking more detail for all the goodies that we like. Okay, so this one was for Eric. It's a pretty decent coin. We're going to be looking at coin number 49 now. 49. One of the last two in the roll, and this one's for Bob Hampton. And it shares the, well, we're going to call it the first die for the roll, which is the 7 inside the 9. So we know this die, and we know there's nothing on this one. It's doubled. And the reverse of this coin is in pretty bad shape. This actually I think it got caught up in a jam in the counting machine. That's what it looks like. Counting wheel, friction wheel rubber peeling out on the coin. Now number 50, Yo Man. Yeah, this one was probably manually put into the wrapper at the end of the roll because it's not got those rubber burns like the previous coin does, so it's not always the one on the end of the roll that gets the burns. Not when you stick a couple of coins in the roll prior to starting the machine part of the roll. All right, there's one for Yo Man, and it is done. That's all 50 coins, folks. I'm sorry that we didn't come up with anything good this time around, but keep tuning in because, well, we do get some really nice gems for people in these rolls. Just once in a while, we come out more or less on the bottom side of things. So there's that for now. We will be back, I believe, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And that will be the 1946S roll. And then directly after that will be the 1943S roll. So I appreciate it, folks. I need to take a break, and I'll talk to you later.